Morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? I'm working on it. It's 1:36 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 20th of July, 2024, for the Saturday. This is the Weaver, John C. Roseman, California, detecting too much smoke and ash in the air. Yeah, never did say this was going to be a nice, quiet summer anyway. Sorry. Ears are itching. Get older and you get this stuff in your ears all the damn time. You got to keep scraping it out. Okay, so are we hooked up with too much technology these days? With too much streaming services that became more and more prevalent and more apparent in our lives? Because every time something new or something exciting or something interesting would catch my attention, I would have to see where I'd find this thing. Then it goes to a service saying, well, with this service over here, we offer a plethora, but we want money. We'll give you 5 to 7 days with the free trial. And if you like what you see, you can sign up. You can cancel anytime you want. But by that time, we already got you hooked, line, suckered with a contract or something like that. Well, with other streaming services, once you get hooked and used to them, why would you want to go? Therefore, we got to increase the rates on you. I mean, after all, it's the only thing, you know. You want more? Then you got to pay more. Here's the thing that pisses me off. If streaming services is that, I mean, we have to suck out every damn dime we got and then more so. What happened to television? Oh, I'm sorry, television's gone. It's an acronym. It's an archaic device. No, just like your device is left or right, and you're like all the time. But in order to look at that on a constant basis, we need to suck out money out of your pocketbook. There goes your bank account right there. Oh, by the way, if you start happening to run into any emails from the Social Security, yeah, uh, I've come across that one there too. Apparently, they're having some system upgrades, and for protection, we have to bug every damn person who's Social Security qualified and who's also on the Social Security benefits right now that they are going to have to upgrade themselves, and it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass. They got lengthy stuff to talk about, and there's videos out there about it. I come across one news station who talked about it. I'm going to have to put a link into my rant and rave this morning here to let you know that this is legitimate and give you the link to the Social Security if they haven't done so already through the email. I know there have been scams out there. Believe me, I know. They're not supposed to call you, but they will notify you by mail or by email. And they got your email. The only thing you can do is just call the Social Security office directly to your local branches and find out what's going on. Because if they are upgrading the stuff, well, they're going to tell you to walk through the step by step. And if not, you got to huff it over to the local office, and then they'll got to talk it through you. Oh, good Lord, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Well, it's a pain in the ass for me to do this over here anyway. In Antelope Valley, California, we got the Social Security office out in Lancaster. In order for me to get over there, I got to take a couple of bus rides just to get down to that place to take care of this damn paperwork. What a pain in the ass. I mean, it is a pain in the ass. The office opens up about 9 o'clock in the morning, and especially Saturday, I can't go there right now. So Monday, I would have to go there. And by the time you get over there, probably at 9 o'clock, you've already got about 100 people ahead of you already. You would have to camp it out. Get there a couple hours, and then wait. Show you something, boys and girls. I do this from time to time. Pull out your either MapQuest or Google Maps. I do Google Maps myself. So I pull out the old Google Maps and I look at the neighborhood where I'm at right now. Now, for me, in the Antelope Valley, it's the wedge shape right above everything else in the Southern California region. And in this area, I would have to widen the shot until I see Lancaster. You understand? Lancaster. The city of Lancaster. I would have to go to 10th Street West, which means I gotta scroll in to find this thing. In order to do that, I am going to Transit. Satellite as well. What the hell? But I already know my territory anyway, so I'm going to find 10th Street West. And in such area of 10th Street West, I mean, you can actually put in their Social Security office, but for Lancaster. But for your area, it's different. For me, it's 10th Street West and about between, close to M Avenue, which is the borderline between Lancaster and Palmdale. Isn't that nice? Get off my damn screen. Okay. But I already know my area a little bit well in that section there. Way past Lancaster DMV. And shortly before Avenue M. And Avenue M, they would have, let's see, gas stations. Got a gas station on the corner, Mobile station. But that's not the one I want. But they also have another place out there, don't they? It's Extra Mile. So there's another gas station there. The Chevron station, which gives people access to food, water, and restrooms. But in that particular area that I'm going through on 10th Street West, I would get to the area of L14 West and 10th Street West as well. Because in that parking lot, if I happen to scroll it further, well, there's a family medical center over there. That wasn't the one I was referring to, was it? No, it wasn't. No, because it was actually West Avenue L12. This is what I'm referring to. It's giving me upset stomachs just talking about this damn. Because now we have found the Social Security Administration office of Lancaster, California, on the corner of 10th Street West and L12 West. It is on the northwest area. Now, if you're familiar with Google Maps, it'll pop up a map of the area, or actually an image of the area. Now, thankfully for me, there is a bus stop that happens in the area. I can actually get off the bus and walk to it, and there'll be no issue, right? Yeah, right, sure. So how do we get to this place? And I would wait until about 9 o'clock to get into the office and wait for the bureaucracy to happen. By the time I get out at about 10 or 11 o'clock, I'm hauling ass across the street, getting on the bus, and getting the hell out of there to get home about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I love the bus schedules we got out here. Drives me crazy because I have to depend upon transportation to get down there. And if it's going to be hot as hell, it's going to be a miserable wait. So Monday's really going to be fun for me. Maybe I'll make it Tuesday. It'll be easier before I start doing this thing. It's, they say you have to start as soon, but, you still have a time. They don't give you a time limit, though. It's a pain in the ass. So I stuck with bureaucracy here. Of course, you can give them a call on the phone and let them know what's going on, go through their prerequisite questions, and they would probably help you on that one, or else refer you over to the local offices that you would have to go to wherever you're living in. And that's a hell of a traveling, isn't it? Unless, of course, you're living close to the damn place. Alrighty. Now, I said before something about computers, didn't I? Okay. So, about a couple of days ago, or within the past couple of days, we actually had a crash happening. Somebody was pushing in software through Microsoft, a third party vendor that they're dealing with. And my question is, why the hell do they deal with third party vendors? I've been dealing with third party vendors for decades. I haven't even bothered to pay attention to the damn computer news. And that's a problem on my end. I should be paying attention to a lot of stuff like this. Because this stuff happens and affects me and everybody else. And I'm asking myself, what the hell am I doing right now? So we had the software push happen and it crashed everybody. And they're trying to implement a change and it's taking a lot longer than people expect. Well, you're dealing with computer programming. I mean, it's not physics unless you're already a math whiz and then you can try understanding math. But also in programming, it's also a bit of math too, but it's its own version. No, I take that back. It's not math. It's programming. It's a different story altogether. It's linear. Line by line by line by line by line. Coding instructions that tells the computer exactly what to look for and what to do. And even after they get the implementations put in, they're trying to take out the old code, or actually the new code that they put in there, and put back the old code in there, necessary for their computer systems to load up correctly. And if you are part of a huge network, it's gonna take a long time for your IT guys to really have fun with this one, to get things working back the way they should have been in the first place. The more we get into our computer programs, the more we get into this, it drives people nuts, and I don't blame them for this because we're so dependent upon computers for anything and everything. We've become, it's not addicted to it. There's words to describe this thing, and I can't even find it. But back in the 30s, 40s, they're getting the computers built, tested out, huge rooms, vacuum chambered, cold as hell, because in order to get the computers working, they produced a lot of heat. And they needed extreme ventilation and power going through to keep them running at optimum levels. Punch cards, when they got to a point of sophistication where you put in the punch cards and the computer will figure out the operation and figure out the answer and spit out an answer to you. And they got smaller and smaller because we got miniaturization in our processors. We developed better and faster, smaller, tinier processors with more power in them. We put them in our computers so we can actually put into a huge room and throughout the decades whittle them down to what we're utilizing right now. And we've become so dependent upon computer operations, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. It's scary. It's downright. The technology that we're dealing with these days is terrifying enough as it is. I can look at a phone and I call it a smartphone. I just pour all of my smarts into a phone on how to do things, how to write, how to communicate, how to do visual. I mean, I could take pictures. I can do audio recordings. I can jot a note down. I can surf the web. I can do a lot of things with a computer on my phone. And I'm dependent upon two other computers over here for operations. I watch television with it. I can do games on the damn thing. Search YouTube. Post my stuff out there. Do map searches. What we used to do for map searches is pull out a damn Thomas guide and look at the place. All your lineal stuff written right there. But if there was any changes, they would have to come out with more and more changes of the books. Here's an updated yearly version of the Thomas Guide for your area here. You go to your local bookstores or other places are selling the maps left and right, including auto places. Purchase the book to see where you're going, what's happening. They wouldn't exactly have the businesses registered in, or maybe a few important businesses, but after that, forget it. But you would have to know the navigation of your place. You would have to know the navigation of your area. You lived in there long enough, you should know where the hell you're going. Not dependent upon, hey Siri, can you get me over here, please? Surely I will direct you over here over a cliff. Ha ha ha. Growing up as a kid, we lived with paperwork left and right. Tons and tons of paper. Till now we're just practically decimated an entire rainforest just for a new Thomas Guide. You had to be your own Thomas Guide. You lived in an area long enough, you had to know where everything else was in the first place, and you knew how to navigate your way. But other people had an issue with that, didn't they? Yeah, they did. They did. Oh, he knows the area. He lives there a long time.
Sir, how do you get over to this particular place?
Oh, well, you see, you go over here, and you're over here, and you're over here, and
I see. Thank you very much.
drop by at the gas station anytime. You're lucky enough that the guy at the gas stations would know the directions of where the hell you need to go to by the landmarks. Living in the San Fernando Valley for over 38 years, you think I'd been an expert? There was more territory to discover in the smaller streets than there was in the larger territories, the larger streets. So, boys and girls, I refer you back over to your map areas of your electronics realm. For me, I'm gonna scroll it on out until I see this wedge shape in my screen. It's called the Antelope Valley. And now we'll see home of Roseman, and above that Mojave, or Mojave as other people would call it, but still Mojave. California City, North Edwards, Edwards Air Force Base. Down below, we got the Lancaster, Palmdale, Quartz Hills, Lake Los Angeles. You get outside the wedge area a bit, you get into other territories of San Bernardino. Some people get pissed off about that one. But hell, they call it San Francisco Frisco. If you're a native over there, you call it Frisco. Anybody else, you're supposed to call it San Francisco. Otherwise, it pisses people off. Too bad. So after looking at the wedge all the time, I scroll it down, and I see the city of Los Angeles. City of Angels. My ass. Angels, my ass. I don't deny angels. I just deny that this is the city of angels. My ass. Okay, the little community sandwiched in a ring of mountainsides and hills called the San Fernando Valley. And this is the place I slugged through for 38 years while living and journeying to different places, but coming back always home because this was always home. And I'm having a hard time with this one, guys. Let's face it. I've had a lot of times living in that place. I lost a lot of friends, family members, familiar places. The San Fernando Valley is no longer home. But it still hurts like hell because it was home. You get older, you remember other areas, and you say, I remember when. How many times have I come across older generations who would say something about that? About they remember this place and that place, and I don't remember this one over here. There used to be fruit trees over here. There used to be this and used to be that. I can understand what they're talking about these days now. I honestly do. But also, what gets you is when you live in a place for so long, it's still part of you that when you leave it and you come back, you're familiar with it and you're comfortable with it. But for me, coming back years later, it's no longer home. Home is where the heart is. But if your heart's already been broken enough and you've already seen changes too much, even after you left, or actually before you left, it changes dynamics inside of a person, including me. I can hear the streets. I mean, I'd watch the local news all the time. I'm still tied into the Los Angeles market, not the Kern County market. I know nothing about Kern County, but I can tell you much about LA because LA is still my home. Home is where the heart is, and my heart is the LA city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles. Even up in the deserts, and even though I'm not familiar with them, but where home is also where you get your heart broken too many damn times. And mine have been broken too many times. I look at the image of the valley. I'd seen the structure of it. I'd seen the streets that I used to go and travel through my lifetime. Always going through the same familiar territory, but other familiar territories with my brother. We'd be driving the streets on that, living in different areas, constantly exploring new corners of the valley. I could spend a lifetime in it if I was able to. But we weren't. Housing sucked. Back in 2005, prices enormous. We couldn't afford anything, so we got the hell out. Found a place up in Palmdale when somebody else said, yeah, there's a place we're managing over here. We can take your rent money and then screw you over later on. How about that one? Oh, sure, no problem. You're our friends. You wouldn't do that to us. What a fucking bet. That's what happened. We got fucked over on that one. They hightailed it to wherever the hell they came from and just never came back. Bastards. Yeah, I never forget them on that one. Stuck us out here in the Antelope Valley where I had to struggle for survival. Dave, Mom, me. Lived here long enough where I saw Dave and Ma die out here. I went back to the valley at one time. There's a smell, there's a feel, there's an atmosphere, there's a vibration, there's something that makes you identify this place as home. You'd look at it, try to walk it a little bit. Even when my brother came back after Ma passed away, we drove until we couldn't and killed the car, but we also took a bus and a train ride down there. Walked the streets a bit. Explored a little bit of an area. Areas that I hadn't gone through in a while or didn't even recognize. Talking about Burbank, Glendale area. I had to get back to the valley, back to the Antelope Valley to get back home, what we called home. Well, when you're out in the Antelope Valley, actually in the San Fernando Valley, it wasn't the same. There are songs out there that I listened to back in the 80s and 90s that would talk about situations like this. You belong to the city, you belong to the street. I gotta find that one. I'll have to do another video on this one. Part 2 coming up.